Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I have a very important topic for all of you guys. I would like to talk to you guys about kids that struggle with math. Okay, I want to really quick tell a bit about our story with math struggles, talk to you a little bit about the Dyscalculia, and just give you some examples or just some ideas of things that you can do if you have a child that struggles with math. I am not a doctor. I'm not a psychologist or anything. I can't, diagnose a disability, but I have experience with learning disabilities. My daughter has a learning disability in math, and I just want to share our experience with you all, okay? So my daughter got diagnosed with a learning disability in math when she was in 3rd grade. That was the last year of public school. Okay, she from the beginning, I started seeing some struggles in her math when she was in 1st grade. She has a hard time connecting with numbers, seeing patterns, in just solving simple math facts and simple math activities. Okay, so I had a feeling that she had a learning disability in math, and when they did the testing in school, she in fact has a learning disability. A learning disability in math is called dyscalculia. Okay, so I want to read to you really quick the definition of what dyscalculia is. This is from a book, Overcoming Difficulties with Numbers, from Ronit Bird. Okay, just want to give you an exact definition of what it is. It's a condition that affects the ability to acquire arithmetic skills. Dyscalculic learners may have difficulty understanding simple number concepts, lack an intuitive grasp of numbers, and have problems learning number facts and procedures. When I read this definition, it is my child, my students, my students. I know that she does have a learning disability in math. It is so hard for her to grasp concepts. She might learn some math facts, and then a couple of days after she might forget them, and if we don't keep doing it almost every day, she forgets them. So having a learning disability in math is hard, especially for a child, because things that might, for you as a parent, might come as really simple, they might not be simple for your child, and it could be frustrating for the parents or frustrating for the child. Okay, and I want to read to you really some indicators of for dyscalculia. And when I got this book and I started reading them, I was like, my child has all these things in this list, so she's really definitely has dyscalculia. And one of the reasons I got this book, and I'll share with you in a second what it is. So that's why she has so many struggles. I'm gonna read them to you really quick. It says an inability to subitize, perceive without counting even very small quantities. Okay, like she might look at a number, or you have like 5 balls, and you can tell just by looking at them it's 5, but when a child has a disability or has some really trouble with number, they actually have to go and count those 5 balls. Okay, and an ability to estimate whether a numerical answer is reasonable. Weakness in both short-term and long-term memory. Yes, my daughter has a hard time remembering those math facts that she's been learning since she was in 1st grade. Next one, an inability to count backwards reliably. A weakness in visual and spatial orientation. Directional left-right confusion. That too, is I have a hard time remembering which one is left and which one is right, and we struggle with that a lot. Slow processing speeds when engaged in math activities. Trouble with sequencing. A tendency not to notice patterns. A problem with all aspects of money. A marked delay in learning to read a clock, to tell time, and an inability to manage time in their daily lives. Okay, so these are things these are characteristics of people and kids that have a learning disability in math, also called dyscalculia. Okay, I am not saying that if your kids have all this deficits or this they have dyscalculia, please don't say that. Like I said, I'm not a doctor. I just want to share with you all. But when I read all those, I figure out, yes, all these things we are having trouble with. Okay, so what can you do when you have a child that's struggling with math, or you have taken them to the psychologist and the doctor, and you find out that they do have a disability? So there are many things that you can do. If you are homeschooled like we are, we started homeschooling the year after she got diagnosed. So I started researching math, curriculums that would be good for kids that have, math, disabilities, also ADHD, because she also has attention deficit. We started with Matthew C, which is a really good curriculum, but it didn't work for us. But I like that when you do your assignments, there are not a lot of word problems. They explain things really well. There's a video that you can watch, but it just didn't work for us. We have worked, we're doing math lessons for a living education, and this is working really well. Just the fact that there's not a lot of math problems, and I have done a review on this, and I will post that on top. And I think, I'm not completely sure, but I think the author of this book has a child that has learning disabilities, and she wrote this book just to help kids like her or him. I'm not sure. Okay, so if you're looking for a curriculum, if your child struggles with math, Math Lessons for a Living Education is just wonderful. We are a little bit, behind, a couple of years behind in math, but that's okay, especially if you homeschool. And we're just taking it very slow, and this math program explains the why behind things, and make kids with the disabilities in math just may understand things a little bit better. I also have this book. We haven't used it as much as I would like to. It's called Overcoming Difficulties with Numbers by Ronnie Bird. It is a book to support kids that have dyscalculia, or kids that just struggle with math, okay? And it presents things in a different way. It just has tons of games in here, and it just helps you show your kids how to see math in a different way and work on those specific skills that are difficult for kids that have disabilities in math. Another thing that I do, we take things, so I break things down. If there are things that I know they're hard for her and she gets really overwhelmed, sometimes during that math day, I will do a problem and she will do a problem. I will do a problem and she will do a problem. Okay, so she will. Because if your child has, struggles with math or has a disability in math, they're gonna get really, really overwhelmed when they see a lot of problems in the math book. Okay. So just maybe cutting the pages in half, or you do a problem, they do a problem, or try to find a math curriculum that doesn't overwhelm children. And there's so much out there. Okay. More time, breaking things down, using graph paper to organize things, because sometimes in books things don't align the way they should in some books I have seen. So maybe using a graph paper that will help line up numbers for children. Another thing, I'm looking at my paper, make sure I don't forget anything. Use manipulatives for for different things. If your kid struggles with counting in their head, or just use manipulatives, it's okay. I personally, if my child needs to use their fingers to count, especially a child that struggles, let them use their fingers. That is my personal opinion. I have read some articles about it that it's okay. Sometimes I still use my fingers. So if your child struggles and they still need to use their fingers, let them use their fingers. Other things, just use a lot of games, and there's a lot of videos out there. There's a website called, a YouTube channel called Math Antics, and this is a really good to help kids with explaining math problems step by step, and we have used that a couple times. And use a reference book. My daughter made this little book, and we keep adding. It's just a math reference book, and we put we have a multiplication chart in here. We write all those measurements, like how many inches are in a foot and how many feet are in a mile. The things that sometimes we forget. And and we review that a lot in our math curriculum, and sometimes she doesn't remember, and the math chart helps her a lot with the long division. She doesn't remember the multiplication facts and which one's closer, and she'll look in here, and I'll let her use her book. If she says, I don't know the answer, I can't remember how many pounds are in a ton, she'll look in her book. Okay, I am accommodating for my child with disability. If she was in a regular school, she would have an IEP, and she will have accommodations and modifications to her curriculum and her her studies. So I do that at home also. So these are just a couple of the things that I do with my daughter, just to help her with her math because we struggle so much. And I hope this was helpful. I am not an expert, like I said. I'm just a mom that cares about my child. I do have a master's degree in special education, but I am not a medical doctor that cannot diagnose a learning disability or anything like that. So I just have experience with kids with disabilities in the classroom and with my own child, and I just wanted to share a little bit of what I know. And if I find more things, because I'm always trying to look for things that I can do with my daughter, I will let you know. I will let you know. Okay, so I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, just let me know. I'm gonna try to do more research on different homeschool curriculums that are good for kids that struggle with math or kids with dyscalculia, and I will share them with you once I'm done, just for you guys can look and see what will be helpful for your family. Okay, again, my name is Michelle McCarthy from Homeschooling in the Pines. Thank you so much for watching.